Hello, this is Mike Lively, and this is the second video in hacking Papervision. And last time what we did is we set up a Papervision project so we could start hacking it. Let's take a look at the project and run it real quick. And this project comes from Chapter 2 of my book, Professional Papervision, which you can get on Amazon. And what we have here basically is a undulating sphere that just undulates around the screen. And we're just using this project to basically hack Papervision and go back and check and see if it still runs. So you have to have something you can run that you can make sure that your program's still running once you do the hack, right? So what we're going to be doing is, if you look at Papervision, there are tons of classes, and it can be overwhelming if you're new to Papervision. Well, what's happening with the new versions of CS4 and now CS5 are out, a number of these classes that were in Papervision are now been encapsulated in the player. So let's take a look at the core here. In the core, there's lots of fun little classes that you can play around with, but we're specifically interested in the math class today. And what we want to hack or remove is the number 3D and the number 2D. Now, the number 3D program has a lot to do with basically manipulations in 3D of various matrix quantities, and we're going to be getting into all of that math as we move along with the book. But let's click on number 3D and just open that up real quick with the system editor. And you can actually go through that and start looking at, and you should familiarize yourself with this class. And as we hack through this example, we will be familiarizing ourselves with a number of operations here. And just go through this class and look at it. You're going to have a number of functions such as the dot product, and we're going to explain why we'd use that in 3D. And you have the cross product. Both of these are extremely important when it comes to clipping and moving things off the stage that don't need to be there. Normalization functions, multiplication functions, all of these you need to be familiar with, because when you start removing these from the program, you're going to want to replace those with the Flash embedded player methods. And so we're going to be comparing those as we move along. So the first step, of course, go ahead and move this number 3D into the old code. And once again, I told you, do not update references, or it will point right there and you won't get any errors. It'll just basically replace all the names by old code, and you won't have any errors popping up. You want errors, so you must be surprised. It's probably the first time you've ever did coding where the instructor said, you know, we want errors, and actually we do. And if we try to run this, we'll get an error. We can see all these little red X's. They mean errors. This thing's not going to run. And so we're going to go through what may seem like an arduous process to you, but let me say, if you're going to try to do this in any other program, it would take you weeks, where this will only take you a few hours. So we're just going to go to our first error, and we see in geometry we have an error, and in renderables we have an error, and we're just going to go right to that particular vertex 3D. And we're just going to tell you we're going to have errors all over the place. And if you come over here and you're just going to go to one error after another, and then errors will appear, errors will disappear as you begin to hack away. Now suddenly I have all these errors that are appearing due to the change that I made by removing the number 3D. And I'm just going to basically open up the renderables folder and just start with the first class that I get errors in. So let's click on that. And I got the class open. And what I want to notice real quick here is number 3D is no longer in existence. I've actually removed it from the scene. So I need to remove it from the code, or I'm going to get an error there. And what do I need? I actually need import Flash geometry, and you click on that, you get some code hitting vector 3D. Now how do I know vector 3D replaces number 3D? That's from experience. I'd actually done some hacking about a year ago, where I realized that number 3D and vector 3D were the same thing. So vector 3D has replaced the name of number 3D in the Flash player. And now that I've put that in there, I want to do a little trick here. I want to Control F, use my Control F, and I want to just type in number 3D, because I don't want that anymore. So I'm going to find all the number 3Ds in the program. I'm going to replace those by vector 3D. Look at that. And I'm just going to replace all. So wherever there was a reference to number 3D, for example, you're creating this vector right here, and it was a number 3D, now it's a vector 3D. Wherever you had that reference, it now is removed, and everything is now vector 3D. And so if I come along here and hit the save button, all those errors will go away, and you can see that there are no more errors in this program. And we're ready to go to the next problem. So here we have another problem. We have vector instance 3D. Let's click on that. And on the side here you can see your errors. So you want to come along here and just click on these bars and see where the errors are appearing. And once again, that number 3D should not be there, so we're going to get rid of that. But what do we put in its place? Well, import flash.geometry. And I know from experience it is vector 3D that takes the place of number 3D. Ta-da! And we're going to do our replace trick again, so we'll Control F. So anywhere that number 3D was referenced in the program, we would just want to replace it with vector 3D. And replace all. And I'm going to save and see if this takes away all my problems. It may or may not. Let's save. And when you save, Flash will once again recheck. And you can see all the errors have been removed. So that was pretty easy. Now, it's not going to be this easy all along. We're going to come along and actually do a little bit of work later on in the program. But that's how easy it is at first. So it's good they had some easy ones. Now we have the util method. Let's just go and open that up and see where there's errors. Here's this fast rectangle tool. So you just go from error to error, correct them. Once again, there's number 3D. Don't want that anymore. What do I want? I want import flash, import flash dot geometry dot vector 3D. And I like to see that code hitting dot there, vector 3D. And once again, first of all, let's do our control trick, control F, and let's, wherever there's a number 3D, let's put a vector 3D in its place. And replace all. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that. And in this particular instance, all my errors did not go away. I have a little problem here. I have a vector to radians. It doesn't know what to do with that. I actually want to open up the old number class, see what that actually is, and then see what I have to do to fix that. So this is 2 radians. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up the old number class and see what I can do, because obviously there's not a 2 radians in the Flash player. So let me see if I can fix that here on this particular program. So I'm going to go to Math, and I'm going to go to Old Code where I put that function. I'm going to actually right-click that package, and we'll open it up in the System Editor or ActionScript Editor, either one. And I'm going to Control F again. Don't you love that Control F? It's going to take you a long way when it comes to hacking. Put 2 radians and see if we can find that particular method in this code, and highlight it there at the bottom. Let's bring that up. And there's a 2 radians. This is basically a static method that changes radians to degrees, and degrees are radians. It's got the conversion factors. Let's just grab those and copy them and bring them into our program. So we're going to copy those, go back to our problem here, and we're going to put this at the top of the page. Okay. In our static properties. There we go. Let's see if we get away with that. Any errors? Okay, I don't see any errors yet, but of course my other errors did not go away. And we'll see what we do with this. Let's go on down, back to our error. And what I want to do is I want to take whatever was in this vector 3D, and I want to convert it from angles to radians. And this is actually fairly easy, because this used to be called number 3D, and what it meant is I was bringing these 2 static properties from number 3D. I now put them in my program here, and I actually have them now physically in the program, so I no longer need to call them for number 3D. I can't call them from vector 3D, so all I have to do is just get rid of that. Surprise! It was that easy, and just hit save, and let's see if that error goes away. And it does, and I'm ready to go to the next error, and we'll continue this process in the next video. This is very important, because as we move through this, we're going to start talking about what these mathematical quantities mean, and we'll be making a list of them as well.